The terrors of human trafficking occur on a daily basis all over the world. One of Christian music's most acclaimed rock bands, Remedy Drive, now returns to the spotlight with an important new mission. They're working with an organization called the Exodus Road, and the band has committed their music and ministry platform to help combat human trafficking. Joining us now is the band's frontrunner, David Zach, to talk about the issue and what they're doing exactly to fight it. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been busy traveling with the organization. What is the Exodus Road?
The Exodus Road is this coalition of groups and forces around the world that they go into the red light districts and the darkest corners of the world, and they find evidence of children, especially children that are being trafficked. And there are these special ops, former ex-military, and then normal guys like Matt Parker and myself that they just go looking, and then they partner with local law enforcement to put the people responsible for it behind bars and prosecute them when possible, and then rescue the boys and girls that are being taken advantage of.
Is there a specific part that they're focusing on in the world, or are they primarily in Southeast Asia?
There's Southeast Asia. There's that's Delta Team, and that was the team that I got to be an honorary member of. There's Alpha Team, which is also in Southeast Asia, and then Bravo Team is in India, and then Charlie Team is back here in the States.
Through your experiences, going undercover and working with these different groups, why do you think this issue is so much stronger in Southeast Asia in comparison to other parts of the world?
We have 300,000 people for sale in the United States, and that's, if you compare that to 10 million in Abraham Lincoln's time, that's progress. But the problem is the rest of the world, there hasn't been progress. It's somewhere between 20 and 30 million people in the world that are enslaved today, and 80% of that is in Southeast Asia. I think the biggest reason, I think about it all the time, but I think one of the biggest reasons is there's poverty, but there's also a real lack of care and value for women especially, and there's a lot of corruption and it's just a perfect place for it to happen and for it to be exported around the world from there.
What is one of the key methods that these criminals are using to trick these girls and young children?
Well, one way that plays itself, you can imagine how many different ways this would play itself out, but you got a farmer with, that has a lot of kids, and his crops fail, and he might have taken a loan from some sort of organized crime syndicate, whatever it looks like in that area in the hill countries. And so they'll give a loan, and then the crops fail, and maybe he thinks that for collateral for his loan, he's offered up one of his daughters, and she might be taken, in his mind, she might be taken across the border to work at a restaurant or something like that. But the sad reality is she's been taken to be infiltrated into the sex trade of one of the major cities in Southeast Asia. And it's just a little trick. And I think a lot of times, I hope and I believe that a lot of times the dad and mom, they might not know what's happening to their daughter. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they do know, and sometimes they make a trade because they need the money. And in some cultures, it's not honorable, but it's almost an expected thing for a girl to do that's pretty in that age range, to be able to send money back home for her family. So it's a very complicated issue,
right?
Which is why it's so hard to stop.
Sure. So what would the aftermath be for those that are rescued, say their family did put them in that situation?
And that's one of the most complicated things, because you want, if you're thinking about it in a very romantic fairy tale way, which is the way I do because I'm an artist, and I would imagine this amazing prodigal son type family reunion homecoming thing, but sometimes that's the exact thing you don't want to happen. So there's all sorts of amazing organizations that the Exodus Road partners with people that are there to love and rehabilitate these children coming out of the sex trade, to give them alternate methods and skills and trades to make a living, to give them the kind of psychological care and the spiritual care and the physical care that they need in order to overcome the trauma they've been through.
How are you guys using your music to raise awareness on this issue?
I believe that, you know, to advocate is to take and to speak for someone that can't speak for themselves. And these precious innocent children, they don't even know what's going on. They can't speak for themselves. They don't have a platform. They don't have a voice. And I believe that awareness is so important, because without people finding out about what's going on in an interview like this, we'll never have the option whether or not we're going to take action. But I believe awareness also through a record that's a counter-trafficking album, a concept album on counter-trafficking. I think hopefully it'll be a starting point or a launching point in people's lives where they can, for the first time, their heart will connect with this issue, and they'll think, man, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of the modern day resistance. And maybe in some small way, these songs from my album Commodity can be a soundtrack for the modern underground railroad.
For people that this really just touches their heart and they feel called, like you did and your band did, to take action, for those that can't travel and you know, go help assist with these raids, what are other ways that people can help?
With Exodus Road, if you wanted to help the Exodus Road, go to theexodusroad.com. You can sponsor a night of investigations. Our operatives, what we did when I was there with them, we would go, we pretend to be interested in finding underage victims. We'd pretend as if we were clients. And it's dangerous work, it's dark work, it hurts your soul, it hurts your heart to be there, to pretend to be doing that. But these guys have to do it. They do it day in and day out. So for $35 a month, you can sponsor a night, and you can join Team Delta, for instance. You can join my team, and you can help support our efforts. Or you can do like a car wash. There's a youth group in Illinois that did a spaghetti feed, and they raised funds to go towards a raid where we partner with the local authorities. We bust down the door, we go in, and we rescue these girls, and we try to prosecute the organized criminals behind it. You can, if you do video work, we're always looking for video editors to help donate their time. There's always a need for some of this video to blur out faces of victims and to blur out faces of our operatives. It takes a ton of time. I don't know what you do. What's your ability? What's your sphere of influence? There's a way to get in the fight.
Well, to find out more about Remedy Drive, their music, and working with the Exodus Road, visit cbnnews.com to find out more. So thank you so much for your time, David, and we will be praying for you as you continue your travels overseas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.